And I saw this story and I said, hey, that kind of looks important. I said, that looks important. So there's been a lot of talk, particularly from the right, regarding groomers. This deep concern that right wing extremists seem to have with kids' genitals, I find very weird. I find it very strange. They want to check the kids' genitals when before the kids play the sports. If somebody thinks that the kids' genitals don't match the kids' designated gender assigned sport, everybody gets to go in the kids' it's fucking weird. And the harassment and the targeting specifically of drag performers across the country, not only in armed thugs showing up when drag performers have not only had their shows, but when they have done these in person reading hours with children, you have these Proud Boys showing up armed and threatening people, right? And let's be clear, the incident that happened in Colorado, was that even this year, guys, or was that late last year? Where some asshole showed up and murdered people because there was a drag performance. And thankfully, that there was there a person to take down this murderer, and the drag performers stomped his ass out to boot. But there's been this sanctioning of violence against specifically either drag performers or people who are gender non-conforming and or trans, and it's truly horrific. But it's done under the guise of protecting children. You know, these people are freak shows, these people are weirdos, surely they're harming kids. Where's the proof? Where is it? Where is it? Now listen, there are people who are harmful and predatory to kids across the gender spectrum, across the racial spectrum, across socioeconomic lines. Like, unfortunately, targeting children for abuse is something that everybody kind of not. And I don't mean everybody. I mean, you will find those kinds of folks coming from all walks of life. Right? It's not one particular group. But but it would seem as though there is a seemingly a particular group, and it's those affiliated with the right themselves. So, Will, if you could pop up that first tweet from the Stop LAPD Spying Coalition. You guys might be familiar with the Stop LAPD Spying Coalition because we reported about their work here on this channel, and these people have been sued by the city of Los Angeles for publishing the pictures, the photos, as you see there, of members of the LAPD. But this information was public record. The Stop LAPD Spying Coalition committed no laws, broke no laws, committed no crimes by publishing these photos of these officers. So the fuck. But they reported this. What day was this? What does I don't know what day it was. It was recent. It was recent. So what it says another LAPD officer just got charged with child sex abuse. And then they posted a link to the press release, which we're going to look at in a second, because I want you guys to see what this press release actually looked like. And it says Paul Razo, Razo, it's charged. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. Content warning for this. This is going to discuss sex abuse, child sex abuse, uh, and police brutality. I suppose the police is abusing the children. That's brutality. So my apologies for not making that disclaimer at the top of the segment. It said Paul Razo is charged with sexually assaulting 4 boys from 2007 to 2016. He was a cop the whole time. In 2018, the Los Angeles Chief Moore awarded him a Medal of Valor for, quote, bravery, decisiveness, and selfless actions. So this is a decorated cop. LAPD, Paul Razo, now charged sexual assault on 4 boys over a period of 9 years. Absolutely stunning. Yeah, keep his picture up there. We got his badge number. And see, this is the kind of information that the Stop LAPD Spying Coalition publishes. They will publish their badge number. They have an email address, I suppose. This is his, I'm not really sure what that is, to be honest. His ethnicity, Hispanic. He is male. He was deployed out of the Hollywood division, and he was officer 3. That was his rank, and he was hired in 1999. He must not have been a good officer. How come you ain't made detective yet, chief? In 2022, again, shout out to the Stop LAPD Spying Coalition, because this is all relevant information. It says in 2022, his regular pay was $99,524 46 cents. Does not have his overtime pay, but then it has other pay. This could be his benefits. Let's see, $20,228.26. Other benefits, $8,807.95. Made a lot of money. Yeah. What's that say? Retirement benefits, 30,000. Jesus, they paid this alleged pedophile pretty penny, 6 figs. I bet you they put him in charge of sex crimes. They said, Paul, why don't you go investigate child sex crimes? Paul said, I'm on it. Except he was really on it. Thank you so much to the Stop LAPD Spying Coalition for publishing that. Can you put up that link to the press release? I want you guys to look at this. And actually, Will, I actually meant to ask you before we went on. Just go ahead and put it up, because y'all know my situation, right? So sometimes I see shit and I'm like, well, this looks a kind of way to me, but it may look different to people with los ojos mejor, right? Mejores. Las personas quien tienes los ojos mejores. ¿Sí? ¿Verdad? ¿Comprendes? Claro. Okay. So that's the regular page, right? Is it me, or is that font in like 6 point? is that not like 6-point font? Do y'all see that? And that's how it looked when I went to pull it up. I said, who can fucking read this? And kids, clearly that's intentional, right? This is from the Los Angeles County Public Information, whatever the fuck. And this is them posting the shit about one of their officers allegedly sexually assaulting 4 boys over the course of years while he was a cop the whole time. And they don't really want you to see the shit, because if they did, they'd have made it at least 12 point 12-point size font. And again, my apologies. You guys know I tend to laugh at inappropriate times about inappropriate things. And do I find the assault of children funny? Not at all. Let me be very clear about that. What I find funny is the ways in which they disseminate this information, right? Quietly, like trying to draw as little attention to this as possible, because they don't want it known that the real groomers are deployed out of the Hollywood division at the fucking Los Angeles Police Department. And I'm just wondering, I mean, it's going to be a nice weather weekend in LA. Shouldn't the Proud Boys show up? Shouldn't they show up in front of the police department and demand that all these groomers be removed from the ranks of taxpayer dollars? Huh? This guy is a decorated cop. Isn't that funny? But wait. It gets worse. It gets worse. Will, pop up the other joke from the Stop LAPD Spying Coalition. Because for the second time in 3 weeks, another LAPD officer has been arrested for sexually assaulting children. Diego Jose Miranda Lopez. He Papa, the other joke, Will. The other pedophile, alleged LAPD pedophile. We got to put these pictures out, man. We're doing public service again. Big up to the Stop LAPD Spying Coalition, but for, and I don't know what the times is. I mean, when I say the times, I mean the LA times. I don't know what them niggas is on. A lot of times they be on some propaganda bullshit, so definitely fuck them. But this is what the Stop LAPD Spying Coalition reports. What's up, Will? You ain't got it?
Saying there was only one picture in the doc.
Oh, that's okay. Okay, but
You
I,
pop up the article though.
no, because it's about a different youngin. It's about a whole different cop. I'm sorry. Maybe it was I may have aired and not put it on the doc.
Oh, good.
It's probably my fault. Thank you, Will, but I appreciate you coming on and saying something. But anyway, let me put out his name. If you're interested, you can go directly to the Stop LAPD Spying Coalition. You can go to their Twitter timeline. But let me just read this. So his name is Diego Jose Miranda Lopez. The LAPD officer has been arrested for raping a child under the age of 14. LAPD and the media haven't been publishing his photo, and the Los Angeles city attorney has sued us to censor this. And they published his picture. Wait, do I have a picture? Will it go sideways? Fuck. I don't know. Can y'all see that, Bama? It probably don't come out that well on the camera, but whatever. So that is he. That is he. That's the person allegedly charged with raping a child under 14. And just to be clear, just in case you live out in Los Angeles, you might want to know where this individual. Oh my God, they're out of the North Hollywood division. What the fuck is going on with the LAPD out there in Hollywood? Oh, and this Bam has only been on the force a year. They hired him in 2022. I wonder if he got a big bonus. I wonder if he got a hiring bonus. Wow. They just let anybody be fucking cops. So his base salary is 38.5, and then he got some little extra shit. He only earned a little bit of overtime. That can't be right. $212.62 in overtime. That doesn't sound right. Well, I guess he's a new hire, so the benefits probably trend up, obviously, with seniority and tenure, etc. But fuck him. Get him out of there. But there's a lot of this. There's a lot of this. I'm not going to even get into all the examples that I had, because I think the examples of the police being, I have to say, alleged. It's a CYA effort. You understand? Do I think these motherfuckers did the shit? Yes, of course I do. But I have to say alleged to cover my ass. So whatever. So I think it's important that, again, we focus and realize that the police themselves are filled with sexual predators, okay? If they're not outright racist, if they're not outright white supremacists, which, by the way, we talked about this recently, but you can totally be non-white and a white supremacist and terrorize communities of colors and black communities, even with your non-white ass, right? You just subscribe to this ethos of policing and slave catching, etc., keeping the darkies in their place. Anybody can be the cop. But when it comes to sexual assault specifically, that's a scary thing, because police hold all of the power. They hold all the power, right? If a police officer is a sexual predator or a rapist, what are the chances that you think? You know what I'm saying? I think about the story that we covered here a month or so ago, maybe 2 months ago, where the cop himself had to shoot his supervisor because he was making unwanted sexual advances towards him, to the point that the cop who shot the other cop thought that he was going to get raped. Like, there seems to be a problem. like policing seems to have a culture of sexual predation. And I don't think that they're interested in addressing it, no more than they're interested in getting rid of the few bad apples, or trying to eliminate people who hold racist white supremacist views, or who are themselves homophobic, or any kind of that. Like, these are all accepted behaviors from police until somebody complains. And then you have to see if somebody's even going to fucking believe the victim, because we can't be bringing down cops, right? Bullshit. Well, let's talk about bringing down politicians. And this story, and we're gonna get out of here over this. I don't even know. Is anybody even still in here? Am I just talking to the wind, to the ethers? Oh, there's a few people in here. Okay, good, good, good. You guys, thank you so much for sticking around. I'm gonna turn y'all loose here in uno momento. I promise. All right, all right, all right. So now, originally, I'm not gonna front. I did see this story on. I saw a clip, a tiny clip of this on John Oliver, and it was so ridiculous in its audacity. I sought the story out, and I said, oh, this is way worse than how John Oliver portrayed it. The 12 seconds that he gave it. I said, oh, this story is way more terrible. And you guys probably saw this. I'm probably just late to the shit, which is fine. Because again, we don't break news over here. We do not break news over here. And yeah. So you got that we transfer file, Will? You got that, Joan?
Yes, ma'am.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what the fuck I'm talking about, Will. Will on his shit. Thank you so much. So this is a story that came out. Oh my God, is this last month, maybe? A Republican leader. This is coming out of Tennessee. You guys remember the Tennessee lawmakers, the two black Justins who they put out the Tennessee State House. They let the white lady stay though, which is whatever. So they put out the two black Justins, right? For again, for what? For making white people uncomfortable. For taking their bullhorn on the floor of the state house and making white people uncomfortable. Punishments had to been meted out, right? There must be consequences when black people make white people uncomfortable. They got to put them out, do something. So, but it just so happens one of the legislators there in the Tennessee State House, who also voted to expel the two black Justins, had to resign themselves after they were found guilty of sexually harassing interns. So there's a couple things I want to tell you guys to look out for in this piece. First of all, I want to give a big up to the boomer journalist who did some real muckraking and got in this politician's shit and did not let his ass off the hook. That's old school journalism. We about to see some real old school journalism go down here because I appreciate that. I respected that. And second, those would be Proud Boys, those who claim to be trying to clean up groomer culture and get rid of the groomers and expose the groomers. Those individuals might see this story and say, well, these girls were 18, 19 years old. They were legal. But the number of times that they rebuffed the sexual advances of this much, much older man still leads me to believe that had these girls been 16 and 17, this fucking creepy piece of shit would have came at these chicks the exact same way. So there is that. Will, if we could please, let's go to Tennessee and check out this wild, like this shit is so bonkers. And I was so very impressed with the way that the local press handled this story. So let's take a look.
This is News Channel 5 at 6.
We have just received a letter from him resigning immediately, and we accepted it. All right.
Thank you.
And with that, House Speaker Cameron Sexton announces the resignation of a member of his Republican leadership team just hours after News Channel 5 Investigates exposed a sexual harassment scandal involving that lawmaker. Hello, everyone. I'm Carrie Sharp.
And I'm Vicki Yates. Representative Scotty Campbell was among those who recently voted to expel the Tennessee Three, but it turns out Campbell and the GOP had their own secrets.
As our Phil Williams discovered, Campbell had quietly been found guilty of sexually harassing legislative interns, but nothing had happened, Phil, until today.
That's right. We discovered that the East Tennessee Republican had been found guilty in that secret process of sexually harassing the college interns, accused of some extremely vulgar behavior. But Campbell didn't lose his leadership post in the Republican caucus nor his committee seats. That all changed within hours after we confronted him this morning. Hey, Representative Campbell, how are you, sir? We wanted to give the East Tennessee Republican a chance to respond to the findings of our latest investigation of Tennessee's Capitol Hill.
As I understand, you admitted to sexually harassing this intern?
Give me just 5 seconds.
Okay.
Okay.
In fact, Scotty Campbell already knew we were investigating some serious allegations
Hold on just a second.
about his relationship with at least one legislative intern, although he would soon divulge there was a second intern.
Which direction do I need to look for your camera?
Just look at
Show
me.
you? Sure.
Campbell is vice chair of the House Republican caucus, and when 3 Democrats engaged in a gun violence protest on the House floor, he voted to expel all 3. Yet this memo, obtained by News Channel 5 Investigates, shows a secret ethics panel recently concluded that based on a staff investigation, the ethics subcommittee finds that Representative Campbell violated the legislature's sexual harassment policy.
I had consensual adult conversations with 2 adults off property.
One doesn't get written up for consensual conversations. The letter says that you were guilty of violating the harassment policy.
I think conversations are consensual once that's verbally agreed to. And if I choose to talk to any intern in the future, it will be recorded.
One of the interns had an apartment in Capitol Towers, a condo apartment complex next to the Capitol, where Campbell also had a place. The Republican lawmaker allegedly saw her and a 19-year-old intern going into her apartment. According to an account the victim sent to her university, Campbell made comments about how he was in his apartment imagining that we were performing sexual acts on one another, and how it drove him crazy knowing that was happening so close to him. The woman added, "I uncomfortably explained that was not happening, and he insisted that he knew it was and asked me to tell him about it." She continued, "I explained that she is my friend, and he proceeded to describe how sexually attractive he finds her, referring to the 19-year-old intern."
You were in your apartment imagining that they were performing sexual acts on one another?
That's not true.
So she's just making that up?
Yes.
On another occasion, the woman says she went to Campbell's apartment to return a wrench she had borrowed. Quote, "He proceeded to ask how many men I've slept with. She recalled, I told him 0, and he insisted I was lying and told me not to lie. He then proceeded to ask how many women I've slept with and said he bets girls go crazy over me."
You asked her about how many men she had slept with, and then asked about how many women she had slept with?
No.
So you're saying she's just making all of this up?
I'm saying that we had a consensual adult conversation.
Then, according to the woman's account, the Republican leader offered cannabis gummies if she would show him tattoos and piercings on her body. He denies it. Her story, I told him absolutely not, and he begged me for several hugs. She says I was getting progressively more afraid and uncomfortable. He then reached out his hand towards me and grabbed me around my neck. I recoiled and said I felt sick and immediately left. Again, Campbell says he didn't think he did anything wrong.
I was told that if anything ever crossed the line, they would tell me directly. And I'm hearing it from Phil.
But remember the report from the ethics panel finding that Campbell had indeed violated the harassment policy.
So are you saying the ethics subcommittee is lying?
I'm saying that I did not know that a workplace policy could be enforced when you're not at work.
But News Channel 5 Investigates has learned that legislative officials took the complaints against Campbell so seriously that they've now spent thousands of dollars to get the intern out of her lease at Capitol Towers, to move her furniture back home, and to put her up in a downtown hotel until her internship is done. As for how Campbell thinks his vote to expel the Tennessee 3 squares with his own behavior,
they broke the House rules of decorum.
And you broke the House policies regarding sexual harassment, according to this letter.
I had a consensual conversation with adults. And when the adults informed me that we could talk and that there weren't guardrails, I talked to who I thought were my friends.
Friends whose definition of friendship appears to be far different from this Republican's idea of what it means to be a friend.
Again, Representative Campbell resigned about 6 hours after we confronted him with those allegations. Still, there are lots of questions that are not answered.
Why did Speaker Sexton and other Republican leaders not act more decisively? And how much is this costing taxpayers? Legislative officials say that number is confidential, but you can bet we're not done investigating.
You better work. News 5 investigates. Big up to Scott. Let me say this in the affirmative and not use it as a pejorative. Okay, boomer. Okay, boomer. You better come through, Scott, with your reporting and your confrontational running up on that man. That man ain't knowing what to do. He said, where the camera at? Where should I look? Just the repugnancy of the behavior that is accepted. Again, like you can be a groomer, you could be a fucking creep if you're a straight white man. You can't dabble in no gender nonconformity. You can't be non-white, non-hetero and doing this shit. But white hetero cisgender men, oh come on, he was just being him. Oh my god. And at least I get to see the other side of where my hug at culture. I gotta say, because I was thinking about this the other day. Because I've worked in white spaces, I worked in black spaces, and I cannot recall one of my white male coworkers. Well, actually, that's not true. I was gonna say I can't recall my white male coworkers be where my hug at, but I can think of several black male coworkers that I have. And they are big where my hug at, but but just for GP fellas, I hope we don't have no where my hug at niggas in here. But if we do, with love, with respect, with kindness, with empathy, don't do that. Don't do that. Any woman who wants to touch you, she'll touch you. You don't have to solicit a hug or coerce some sort of physical touch. If she wants to give you a hug, she'll come give you a hug. Please do not be a where my hug at ass motherfucker. Please. Please. It makes the women uncomfortable. We don't like it. Let me ask you where my hug at. Don't come ask me where your hug at. Let me ask you where my hug at. So where are the Proud Boys? Did the Proud Boys show up as outside of the Tennessee state legislature? Did they show up outside of this guy's house? Did they show up at his office? No, 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 no. Because this is a hypocritical, phony culture war. This is just some shit that incels find to do on the weekends. You know what I'm saying? When they're not watching rape porn, you know what I'm saying? Because these people are very disturbed, sick individuals. When they don't have shit to do, when it ain't deer season, all they got to do is go around to fucking bookstores that they've never entered into voluntarily to go harass trans performers, drag performers for reading to children who are there present with their parents. We're trying to give the kids another experience outside of this cisgender heteronormativeness that seems to still dominate the large landscape of our culture. And for what? And for what? And the thing is, a lot of the pedophiles reside within their own ranks of the right wing. They accept it, they tolerate it, they encourage it. These are the ones putting forth the abortion laws. These are the ones trying to lessen rape and incest laws, trying to lower the legal age of marriage so they can marry children, so they can marry fucking kids. That's who they are. And that is who they've been. That is always who they've been. But their hypocrisy is very dangerous. It's very dangerous to our gender nonconforming family, to our drag performers. And they need to address their own. The killer is calling from inside of the house. The pedophile is calling from down the hall there, Billy Bob. Go check on seeing what your brother doing. Do that.